Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Playing in Traffic. Like I say every week, we do this every week, every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And we talk about cars, boats, trucks, anything you put gas in. We love to talk about it. So tell all your people this is where to come to talk about stuff and tell lies. What's up, Ray?
Right. Very good, Lewis. And we do this whether we're stuck on the side of the road or not.
Yes, sir. So
So
I'm gonna start
today,
out. I guess every week I'm gonna have a new adventure in the bus. So we'll start out that way, and then we'll go into the meat of the content.
yeah.
So we left Florida, come back home. We came back 2 weeks early. We had some stuff to take care of here at the house, and little naggy stuff. So
Right.
we took off. I want to say it was Tuesday. So we get to South Carolina. It's 8 o'clock at night, and I'm driving, and the bus is running smooth, and all of a sudden it just starts losing power. I'm going up the hills, losing power. So I slide off to the side of the road, and it like clunks out, like it's out of fuel.
Wow.
So I'm like, wow, I got a quarter of a tank left, and I can see the exit. The exit was 600 yards,
Oh,
right?
wow.
I'm looking at the lights at the truck stop.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, well, let me go get some fuel and see, because that's what it was sounding like. So
Yeah.
I'll take the Jeep off, I'll run up, get some fuel, come back, put it in, and now it won't start at all. I'm like,
Mm.
oh man, what is going on? So I check everything. There's no fluids on the ground. I'm checking oil. I'm checking everything, right? So so I call our roadside assistance, which is Coach Net, name of the company. So they handle RVs and big. Actually, they handle everything like cars, whatever. So
Oh, okay.
I got it for the bus. So I call them and they say, okay, we'll find you somebody and call you back. So they call me back about 45 minutes later. They said, we found the guy, but it's going to take him 90 minutes to get to you.
Uh-huh.
I was like, okay. But I'm on the side, I'm on Route 77, and trucks and cars are blowing by me, man, and shaking the bus. I'm like, oh my God, somebody's going to hit us. You know what I mean? So I'm worried about that. So it's 8. So now it's like 9:30. So the guy calls me. He goes, okay, I'm about an hour away from you. He goes, what's going on? I was like, well, I'm close to the exit. I just need towed off the exit to the truck stop. And he goes, okay, well, I got a buddy that has a towing company in that town. So it's a little closer to you. I was like, okay, cool. So he don't call back. So now the roadside service calls me back and says, hey, did the guy ever show up? I was like, no. She says, oh, I'm looking at the thing. He canceled. So now it's like 11 o'clock at night.
Uh-huh.
So she goes, let me call around and try to find another towing company. I'm like, all right, cool. So she calls back. She goes, I can't find anybody. You'll just have to wait until the morning and we'll get somebody out there in the morning. I was like, dude, I'm on the side of the road and somebody's going to hit me, man. I was like, this is bad situation. So she goes, well, I told the sheriff or the state trooper to come out there, check on you. And he said he's going to call you back.
And now you froze. Right when we're getting to the good part of the story. So as we're waiting to hear what happens with the state troopers, we're going to have to wait for Lewis's connection to clear up again. Wow. So this is the joy of travel. And it's obviously especially indicative of the danger drives or that first time you take a vehicle out. Um, Lewis was obviously smart enough to have roadside assistance,
Yeah.
but as we see, there you go. I was
All right, I'm
narrating without you.
back. So I'm back.
Okay.
so she's leaving up to me to find my own towing company, right?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
so the state trooper calls me, which I didn't know it was him. I thought he was another part of the company, the roadside assistant. So
Mhm.
he's like, they told me to give you a call. What do you want me to do? Well, I want you to come get me. What I mean,
Yeah.
get somebody to get me. He goes, well, dispatch said that the company called. And I was like, oh, it's not the company, it's the actual state trooper. So the dispatch calls me and says, "Okay, call Joe. Joe's towing. They'll come get you." I was like, "All right, cool." So before I called Joe, the service calls me back. The you know, the what do you call it? The
The
roadside assistants called me back.
right.
She goes, "Did they give you a number?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, give it to me. I'll call them." I was like, "No, no, 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 no. I'll call myself because you know, it's been 5 hours. I'm sitting on the side of the road for 5 hours, right?" So I
Yeah.
called Joe. He comes out, hooks me up, takes me to the truck stop, and I pay him. And the roadside assistant calls me in the morning. She goes, "Well, I found a place for you to take the vehicle to have them check it out."
Uh-huh.
So I didn't want to get angry with them because they got to reimburse me my money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So so where we were at a truck stop, the service company was right next door on the other side of trees.
Oh, wow.
So they walked over and put the scanner on the bus and determined that my needle was off by a quarter of a tank, and I ran
Oh,
out of fuel. And when I ran out of fuel, it sucked air. So now I got air in my system. So
okay.
even if I could get it up or get the fuel in it, I couldn't get it started because I had air in the system. And it
Right.
has a hand pump on the injector, or not the injector, but on the engine. But it
Uh-huh.
wasn't. I tried priming it; it wouldn't prime. So they put a pump on it, and they sucked the air out, and got me running. So it's kind of good to have the service, and it's kind of you gotta kind of work yourself too. Don't just trust them to find you a tow truck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, well, I guess it works a little different with cars. So, yeah, like I was saying while you were froze, when you take those maiden voyages, the danger drives that we talk about,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what's going to happen. And you were smart enough to actually have that service, that was good thinking. Um,
Yeah, well, listen to this part of it. So there's a company called Good Sam, and they do all RVs, right?
right.
So I signed up with them before I left. So I get down to Florida, and I'm talking to other people, other bus people, and they're saying, "Oh, Sam's won't come get you if it's not an RV. They don't do schoolies."
Oh,
So I was like, "Oh, wow, really?" So while we're sitting there, they say, call CoachNet and sign up with them because they'll come get you, with the bus. So I did that right there while I was sitting there. We were sitting there around a group, so I did it on my phone, and I
yeah.
paid for it and got it. And then on the way home, I had to use it.
Yeah. Well, boy, that's talk about good timing. I mean, that's
Yep.
phenomenal. You did that. Yeah. I mean, it sucked that you had to wait, so long, but now the information you learned is going to save you the next time. So what are you going to do about the gas gauge? Can they? I mean, uh,
Well, I'm just going to change the sending unit and just change it out. It's real easy to get to. It's under my couch. Like
okay.
the access panel is under my couch, so I can get to it real easy.
I mean, it does work because it moves, right?
Yeah, but it's a
So
quarter tank off.
so when they're telling you that it's a quarter of a tank off, it kind of sounds to me like you could rebend that float arm to
Hmm.
maybe bring it in, but you'd have to have a way of checking it.
Yeah.
Um, I do a lot of sending units on cars. Almost all the older cars I work on, one of the first things I do is take the gas tank out, to check to see if it needs to be cleaned, and the
Hmm.
sending unit's usually bad anyway. And
Right.
I always check the old one because I know on the GMs it's a 90 ohm system, so it's 0 to 90 ohms. You check it with an ohm meter, and I always check the new ones before I put them in to make sure that they have the full range of travel.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, it's really easy to do. But if the sending unit, if the arm is obstructed by anything or hits something, then there's it can be an issue, which usually doesn't happen,
Hmm.
but it can. It can hang up. I had a problem with my own car um, because I had a guy put when I had my tank rebuilt. I had a return line put in the tank, thinking ahead that I might be using fuel injection someday,
Right.
and I put the sending unit in, and the arm it would only read half tank because the float now was when it came down, it was hitting that tube that he put in, and it couldn't go any further down. So I
Hmm.
was like, oh shit. So I mean, that was kind of by my own doing, actually. But so you really can't calibrate them, but you can certainly check them. You can
Right.
certainly check them. So yeah, when you take that one out, you'd have to know what the range is. But if you're going to buy a new one, you can obviously put an odometer on the new one and see what the range is, and then check
Yeah.
the old one against it.
Yeah. I on the way down, when I got to a half a tank, I filled it up. So I
Okay.
never got it that low. But on the way up, I was like, well, I'll stop and get some fuel. And I'm watching the needle. I was like, I got a quarter of a tank. I keep on moving. Well, that didn't work. As soon as I hit a hill, it did me in.
Right. Yeah. So if it was a quarter, if it was so, let's say at a quarter, well, you were reading a quarter of a tank, you said, and you were empty. That means you'd actually go past full.
Now it does. When I filled it up the next time, it looked like a quarter past the full.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So I could actually just
Turn
keep
the
my eye
gauge.
on it.
You
Yeah.
could, because that's one way of doing it. Yeah.
But I don't like that. I want I want to glance at it and see where I'm at.
Yeah. But like I said, the lesson learned is good because it's information, and now you know what you got to do, and it'll get you straight the next time. So
Yeah, but old girl ran. I mean, she ran good.
so
I
where do you
can't
have to
complain.
go to buy a sending unit for a bus? Who has
Well,
those?
you can get it at Napa or any of those kind of places because
Really?
it's on a truck frame, truck chassis. It's the
Okay.
same as like a box truck, um,
Okay.
like an international 4800 box truck.
Right.
Same chassis.
Okay.
Yep.
Did not
So
know that
yeah.
they had that there. Good.
Yep.
No, that's
So,
nice. All right. So like I said, the information is it's invaluable. At least now you know.
yeah.
Uh,
So for the money, I think I paid $170 for the year, and the first week I had the service, $400 tow.
yeah. There you go. Yeah, that pays off immediately, right? Now you find out like if you make 3 claims in 18 months, they drop you or something. You
Yeah.
know, you never know.
Yeah,
But
but still, I'm ahead already. I'm ahead
yeah,
$300.
yeah. Wow.
Yep. So in my opinion, it's worth getting the service.
Well, that's why with my classic cars, I have Haggerty insurance on all of them, and
Mhm.
they give you free towing. I forget how many miles it is, maybe 75 or something like that.
Mhm.
And I said, wow, Long Island's like 120 miles long, and I could go. I'll go upstate, not too far, but even like the Mid Hudson Valley. I upped the coverage to 125 miles. So 125 miles away from home, and they'll tow you home. I said that's worth it. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Right.
It's worth it for the year, and I have used the service. I've never been. I was close. I was actually each time I used it, once I was driving, I was going to work. I couldn't tell them I was going to work because I'm not supposed to use a car for that. But both times I was, within 10 miles of my house, and I used it, and they did tow me right back, right to the house. So,
Yep.
flatbed service. So yeah, those services are, it's insurance,
Yeah.
but for a new vehicle that you built, car, truck, bus, whatever it is, it's worth having because those unfortunate things happen, and it definitely pays to be prepared. So
Yep.
yeah.
So I
So
usually have roadside on my regular car insurance,
right.
but it's always included. But
So
yeah,
you got to
on
get a
the
little sticker and put like a wrecker or a flatbed, like one of them on the side of the bus, like 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 when the pilots used to do when they shoot down a
oh
enemy
yeah,
plane, put the flag on.
every time you break down.
You got to put one on there now.
Yep. Yep.
Oh wow.
And, she ran uh, my lift motorcycle was no problems with that.
Okay.
The Jeep home is no problems. Pulled, I could barely feel it back there.
Nice. Well, yeah. What is it? What do those Jeeps weigh?
I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, probably not
Uh,
too. I mean, I don't think they're, you know, I don't think they're 3,500 pounds or anything. I don't think they're that.
I was gonna say probably 2,000 pounds,
Yeah, they're
if that.
light. They're not bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
it pulled nice.
But that's good.
I,
The Jeep and the bike,
mm-hmm.
you know.
So I had the Jeep, the bike, and the bus. I was doing pretty good. I took a
Right.
picture of it. Let me see. See here. Yeah, so everything, I come back to the stupid cold weather.
Yeah.
I didn't like that
Exactly
part
what
of it.
you said you weren't going to do.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, yeah, nice. That Jeep sits pretty far back. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be like, what, 4 feet, right?
I think it was 3.
3 feet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad then.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. Wow. Excellent. So you survived it. You and your wife made it one piece. Still married. Got no lumps on your head. Still froze though. So, so like I
Yeah,
said,
I'm back.
you and your wife survived it. You're still married. There's no lumps on your head.
Yeah.
Good.
She still likes me.
Yep. Hey, every step is a test, and
Yeah.
that's good. That's very cool.
The animals did good, but we're not taking them on the next trip because it's just so, you have to worry about them. You have to go back. You can't stay out. I mean, it's just always worrying about the animals. Gotta let them out.
Nice to have them. Yeah, nice to have them with you. I can see that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
So
What's next?
So we're going. Actually, Terry is going to come here. I think in 2 weeks,
Uh-huh.
and we're gonna go over to see a guy in Chicago. So we're
Okay.
gonna take the bus over there and
All right.
hang out with this guy. And then our next trip, me and the wife, we're going to. I think we might go out and see Arca.
Uh-huh. Wow, that's a good haul.
Yeah, and then we're gonna bounce up to Michigan. They have a schoolie. It's called Schoolie Upper Peninsula.
Right.
So we're gonna hit that. I think that's in August.
You'll be up in Justin's area, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's another schoolie swarm in New York, upstate New York.
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna go up there, and we're gonna bounce around the East Coast states.
Right.
And, put our stickers on our flag. Knock off some states. Yep.
Sure. Good.
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully by then the national reciprocity law will be signed and you'll be legal everywhere. That'd be nice.
Oh man, I have insurance. I have a USCCA.
Yeah.
And their app is incredible. When you hit the state line, it notifies you and tells you what's going on there, and you can at a glance.
I have their app on my phone. I haven't traveled with it yet, but I do have the app, and they won't insure me in my state. They won't insure me in New York.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
that stinks.
That's nice to know, right? So maybe once this national reciprocity, they will. I don't know. Hopefully, I'm really hoping that goes through.
Yeah, I've been a member for probably let's see, probably eight years now.
Okay.
Yeah, they and that app is really good, man. I learned a lot from the app.
I did just get my Gun Owners of America
nice.
membership card in mail.
Yeah,
So that's good. Yeah, all stuff you got to think about.
So I got a new toy today.
What's that?
For the bus, I got a Mossberg Shockwave.
Oh, what gauge?
12.
Okay, because I was looking at the Shockwave. I'm looking at the 410.
Mm-hmm.
And there is some really, really gnarly ammunition for the 410. One of my trainers showed it to me. He has one in his house, and he says, I mean, like in this shell, we talked about this a while ago. These it's like I think 4 little discs that are connected. Oh, it's 4 little discs and like buckshot pellet, and the discs come out and they tumble and turn like all sorts of ways. It's nasty stuff, and in a close quarters, like a bedroom or a bus, or like you don't want to go through the wall or anything, and actually for noise too. They say it's pretty damn effective. So that's on my list.
Nice.
But
So
good to
this is
have.
how it happened. Dwayne, he had me make him a holster that he can grab it out from back here,
Oh yeah.
and he pulls it out. And I made him a holster. I made a grips for it, and the forearm strap. I did a leather for that,
Right.
and came out really, really nice. And my wife's like,
Nice.
"Oh man, I love that gun. I need one."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Babe, look, there go Dwayne's gun over there." She was like, "Oh, we better get it for the bus." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I
No,
got
that's good.
authorization.
Yeah. So what's on the what's the agenda looking like for a rear end swap? Any thoughts? Any plans?
Yeah, I have to do it because at
Yeah.
65 I'm stuck.
Right.
The guy opened up he took the governor off.
Uh-huh.
So when the guy at the shop put the scanner on, he goes, "Man, you're set up. You can go 120 miles an hour." I was like, "Yeah, I wish I could." I was like, "The rear end stops me at 65."
Yeah.
So this week I'm actually doing a couple things to my electric. I'm changing some stuff out,
Okay.
and off my list of things I want to change. But the rear end is definitely getting changed before I leave.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, that's like a number one before the stove. That's really a number one thing because that's everything when you're driving.
Yeah, the hitting hill,
Yeah.
affects it.
Yeah. So that's why with a rear end change like that, that's why a lot of guys, even like myself, put in 5-speed transmissions or overdrive transmissions in their cars to knock that RPM down on the highway. This way, the motor actually turns slower, but you have more high end, and you don't stress the powertrain.
Right.
So that'll be nice. Yeah.
So there was a guy down in Florida. He switched his transmission out. And he put a stick in a 13-speed.
Ah.
I would love to do that, but that's my money isn't that long.
Well, that's when you got to find. Yeah, if you find like a donor vehicle, that you can take take the stuff out of. And even so, I mean, that's not easy work. Changing a transmission in a bus.
Yeah.
They wanted me to do a clutch in the tow truck a while ago. I said, "What are you kidding me?" I said, "How am I going to get that transmission out of there?" It's like, this is no joke. It's a Cummins diesel. I said, I don't even know what it looks like, but I know it's going to be heavier than I can handle. It's like, no, sorry.
Actually, I changed one in one of my tow trucks. Or no, it was one of my car hauling trucks, and I had to come in diesel in it.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't too bad. Just like a car, just a little bigger. Get a bigger jack.
Yeah.
Let's get a bigger jack.
Yeah.
So man, that'd be pretty sweet to have a stick in here, man.
Right.
That'd be fun to drive.
Yeah, 13 speed, that'd be neat. Yeah.
Yeah, I miss my semis. I had 13 speeds in them. It's fun to drive.
Sure. Yeah, that's cool. And you
So I wanted to ask the fellas if we get the fellas on tonight. I'm thinking about an exhaust brake.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But one of my friends, he contacted the dealer, and they said that it's not really hard to put a Jake brake on this motor.
Okay.
I'm gonna research that, but I thought you had to take the head off and do all kind of stuff. But they're saying it can go on top.
And they're readily available. That's an easy part to get.
Yeah, so I'm gonna look into all that before I leave again. Anything I can do to help out the drive.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to.
Well, yeah, that's first and foremost. I mean, the drivability of the bus, I think, has to be first and foremost. Your comfort is second, and then all the amenities come in after that.
Yeah.
So I guess there'll be a stove out at the curb,
real quick.
Right, this week. Like,
I'm gonna put it on buy, sell, trade.
Okay.
And if somebody don't get it in a week, it's going out to trash.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's funny. It's great.
It's
But
really,
that's the thing. That's how you find out.
yeah,
You got to find out by doing. And
yeah. It's really a nice stove. It really is. But
yeah,
man,
if it's in your garage or your shed or in your summer home, but not in your bus.
yeah, yeah, that was a mistake. But
Yeah.
like you said, you learned. I mean, we had to try it.
I gotta say, out of all the things that could have gone wrong or been a problem, you're lucky. You really only had the two. The stove for the noise and the rear end for the drivability.
Yeah,
I mean, the fuel gauge thing, that's neither here nor there. That could happen at any time. So I think you really got away. You got away lucky.
yeah, and we learned a lot down there. A lot because everybody had buses, and so you
Yeah.
learn a little bit from everybody.
Right. Right. Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and you get to see other people's rigs and check it out and all.
Hmm.
Which is great. I mean, it is and it isn't because now it gives you more ideas and is more money you want to spend sometimes. But hey, again, if it enhances the experience, it's all for the positive. It's all for the good.
Yeah.
So
So solar is a major thing that's going on too. So I got to
oh
get my panels up.
oh yeah, yeah. Don't forget
Yes.
those.
Yeah. So I got all my system already ready. I just got to plug up the wires. Once I get them on the roof, to plug them up, and I'm ready.
Perfect.
So it's just
Perfect.
getting up there on the roof and doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Well, the weather's supposed to be getting a little nicer. I know around here the weekend's supposed to be nice. So
Yeah.
hopefully
I think we're getting a little bit of rain, but man, it's cold. It was right now it's 49. It's not too bad, but this morning it was pretty cold.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. We're like 48 here right now, so it's about the same. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's always come down to the wind. When it's windy, it
Hmm.
just that's it. You just feel colder. It's just no two ways about it.
Yep.
So yeah,
Let's get the fellas in and see what they're talking about.
ah,
What's up, Mr. Brian?
Hey guys, what's up?
hey, there he is,
Jim?
Jim.
Papa Squirrel?
Papa.
Hello.
Hey.
How's everybody tonight?
Doing good.
It's cooling down here. We've been pretty hot today out here in the desert.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
In the
Now it's
desert.
cooling down.
Yeah, I was on my way home and I blew out one of my tires.
Hey,
Really?
So I had luckily it was one of the rears.
Mhm.
Limped home, dug through my tire pile to find one that was somewhat and went over to my buddy's shop and got it put on, and I just walked in the door.
Wow.
hey,
So hopefully I know
Alright.
next month, which is only a week away, I was saying I did the fronts the beginning of this month, and I said I'd do the rears and the back.
Yeah.
So, but,
How many miles do you get out of tires, Brian?
Huh?
How many miles do you get out of a set of tires?
Well, that's kind of because I only do 110 miles a week.
Okay.
So like the tires that are on the rear, it's been like 5 years or whatever.
Okay. Well, that's good. So you don't have to.
Roughly 5 years. The fronts wear out a little bit more because of the weight in the back. It kicks and it messes up the
Geometry.
if I get too much weight in the back end.
Well, that's okay. That's
And
good,
it's
'cause
kind of like the tow truck syndrome, kind of wears on the inside.
when you did the my show with me, we were talking about tires and tire life, and someone called about that, and that's what we were saying. About 5 years is usually about the
Yeah.
recommended life. So you hit it perfect.
The fronts can be, like 3 years, maybe, because there's not really much of adjustment. I've done it before, but it's just a pain in the butt getting down there and playing with the toe and moving stuff around. Other than that, there's really no other adjustment. First thing anybody says to do alignment, they want to replace everything. That's the answer.
Mhm.
Well, we need to do this, and that. And I said, well, are they bad? No, we just replace it all, then do alignment, and you're good.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you hit up here. Our potholes are like Grand Canyon, so you fall into shit.
It's not
Right.
like Jersey. They got one on I-80. It was like, a 4x8. It just collapsed.
You just drive through. So
sinkhole.
So hopefully, actually, I don't have the extra coin at the moment, but I should do it before the first of the month, because that's when the end of the world and everything goes up in price.
Well, you got a couple of days. That's it.
Yeah, well,
I got
look, dude, it is what it is.
Right.
Well,
I'll tell you. Speaking of that, one of the things that they're talking about now that they're putting through, Trump was putting through the tariff on parts. He wants to bring auto parts back to the country.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it, because everything I've bought that's either AC Delco, I bought a lot of factory GM stuff for my wife's car.
They lasted.
And for my cars too. It's either Canada or Mexico.
Yeah.
That's where the stuff is from. So, like he said, there's warehouses, there's factories that are empty, warehousing space. They said, hey, if these people bring it back, put a little money into the infrastructure, warehouse it, sell it here, no tariff, obviously, because it's in the country. Which means,
that was like I was telling you, Ray, I think on your show, or we were, if we got that far ahead, Audi of America, really Volkswagen of America, said that they're moving their plant here from Mexico to here because they,
right.
It's just not to get all political, but it's just everybody says they want change. They just don't want to give up something for that change. You can't have it all.
And everybody's going batshit crazy, with this tariff thing, and saying, it's an incentive is what it is. And I know, it becomes talking points and arguing points. And I know right now, it's always what doesn't get said and what's done behind closed doors that really matters. And we don't always find that out. Case in point, Governor of New York here, she put in this congestion pricing in the city, and everybody's up. People don't want it. They made $100 million already.
Wow.
And they're proud of it.
Yeah, well,
the scary part.
As they should be, right? But my question is that they're bailing out the MTA, who mismanaged their funds. So not to get political about it, but how far in the hole are they? $100 million in a month. That sounds like I can solve a lot of problems. It's going to be like the toll for the Verrazano Bridge. Oh, yeah, as soon as we make the money back for the bridge, the toll will go away. Yeah, that was a quarter. Now it's $16, how many years later?
Well, only 9.
Unfortunately, it comes down to greed.
Well, right.
These guys, that's the problem with everything. And
what I found
just get over that, but nobody can.
You read between the lines of when I read the New York Post, and the governor she's been to Washington a few times. Her and Trump are going head to head. He's not giving in. She's not giving in. She's adamant that she's not going to move an inch. And one of the lines I read was, he told her he'll put a stay on a lot of this stuff. There'll be a referendum. He'll give her time, but things have to change. Things have to go the other way. And you never hear, she'll never talk about that. She'll never say, well, he's willing to work with me if to make a deal. She won't say that. She'll just say, no, I'm not going to give him what he wants. Meanwhile, and I know he's done this because I've read it and I've seen it on TV too, on some of the shows I watch, that even with the tariffs, he was in touch with China. He was in touch with Canada and Mexico. And they immediately, spouted their rhetoric and, got it out of their system. And then he told them, well, listen, we can get around this. If you do this, then I will do this, or I'll do this, if you'll do this. He's willing to make, trade concessions right off the bat if they are. If they're not, then it's like, okay, 25% tariff. Screw you. Canada's taking all the USA wines and off the shelves already. And
that's already paid for.
Yeah, good. Let's see. Lose the revenue. Go on. That'll be fine. That's what you want to do. You want to spite, cut your nose off to spite your face. fine.
About it.
Well, as long as they stick to lines, I'm safe.
Yeah, exactly. But so a lot of that stuff, I've never heard it talked about. You catch wind of it, and a guy like him it's business first, and it's going to be business. He does what he says. It's America first, and they vilify that like it's a bad thing. I mean, they did that since forever with him. I mean, see, Brian, now you're getting me off on a political rant, but I always said it when the term MAGA came out, right? Make America great again. And Biden used to say, yo, that MAGA, and uses a derogatory term. I used to yell at the TV. I said, Joe, just say the words that the letters stand for in the same sentence. And then let's see what people think. Because what he's saying is, make America great again is bad. It's no good. It's a terrible idea. Just say that, But no, you had to, they want to use that word. And I'm sure there's a lot of people don't even know what MAGA stands for.
Yeah.
Because they don't care to even learn that much. So, yeah.
I think MAGA stands for Mexicans always get across.
Well, in Biden land, it did. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Exactly. Very good, Pops.
Lewis, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get on that side, but I did want to know. No, I know, but it's just, dude, it's so funny. The funniest part of all this is that, I see 200 people a day. I see a handful of people, and I just love when you walk into that guy that all he could do was talk about Trump, about how great, and we're going to vote him in, and now he's bitching. And I said, we all voted for him, dude. And I said, what? I said, last week you had all his shit up on the wall.
Yeah.
And now you don't. So that's just like the Tesla drivers all driving around with Honda stickers on their car now.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. But beside the point, and I didn't mean to get sidetracked, we're here to talk about automotive. Man, my car has lost 50 pounds of metal in this motherfucker. I keep cutting it now. I got to stop cutting.
Oh, geez, now you're going too far. You're going too far the other way now.
Yeah, I can't stop it. I couldn't stop taking parts off of it. Now I'm keep cutting shit, man. I've gone through. Well, I sent Ray. I couldn't find any USA cutoff wheels, and I've blown up about 9 Harbor Freight ones. And let you all know, I still have all 10 fingers.
Brian, I had to cut a piece of angle iron today. I'm making a mount in my car for that relay center. And I grabbed my whiz wheel, and I have the Harbor Freight 3-inch cutoff wheels. I have not stopped this right now. I have not broken one of them yet.
Uh-huh.
I like to think that I'm always very careful when I use the tool. I always pay attention to the pitch, and I back off when I have to back off. But as I was using it today, that's the only thing I could think about.
It was funny because I've cut, like I said, when I ran out and I ordered some and they finally came in, took me a week to get some good cutoff wheels, the 3-inch, 3.5 inch or 4.5 inch.
The bigger ones, yeah.
Yeah. So going along the line, they finally came in. They're sitting out on the driveway. I got to bring shit in. But I was like, man, I'm not stopping because I'm doing it. So all I had were some small 3-inch stuff. And that's what I've been using. And I can't believe the 3-inch wheel has lasted size and length or, product versus the cheaper stuff of just being sawdust after, 10 minutes of cutting and having sawdust.
So what are you cutting? What part of the car are you cutting?
Cutting the wheel wells out. I got the frame marked up. I had shared the picture with Ray. I'll put it on our group picture. When I had a rear sway bar on the car, I had a 1 inch on the front and 3/4 in the rear or whatever. But I had pulled the sway bar link or the holder through the frame when I was taking everything apart. I pulled the one side of the sway bar apart through the frame. So now I got a frame rail to replace. I got to put in since I'm doing it. And like I said, I just keep cutting. She's going to lose another 50 pounds somewhere along the line. I don't know. I'm just keep cutting.
Well, leave
So-
enough weight that your car will stay on the road. If you cut off too much weight, you'll just float away, you know.
Well, I'm hoping because even I start eating rice and beans, so maybe I can float away too. I mean, it's gonna be a spaceship after I get done with it. So, but I wanted to know what happened. Did Lewis run out of gas?
He disappeared.
He ran
Yeah,
out of
I know.
fuel again.
Oh yeah. In on the road, yeah. He ran out of fuel, had to get towed. It took him like 5 hours to get help, and then he
Yeah.
found out when the guy I guess he put a scanner on the truck. He found out that his fuel gauge is a quarter. It's a quarter of a tank
Oh,
biased, to the full side. So he thought he had a quarter of a tank and he was empty.
wow. Okay.
So
So
this little
that's
pump
when
thing
you-
on the engine, on the
and
was
then
it
it
injectors?
got airlocked.
Was
I
it-
guess it got airlocked.
He
in
said
the-
it didn't work.
Yep. That thing
Oh,
don't
it's
work.
a pain in the balls. I ran out of gas one time, and that little pump thing, my two little fingers had a hell of a fucking workout after that.
So that's just a manual pump to what is it?
Yeah,
pump
actually,
fuel?
I think you unscrew and it comes up, and it's like a radiator pressure tester pump thing.
Yeah, he said it was like a bicycle pump. Yeah.
And you pump up. That's why. Well, later on, of course, I knew this even then, but I didn't have any. That's like if you take the fuel filter off and fill it with transmission fluid.
Uh-huh.
Because transmission fluid is lighter than diesel, so it flows faster,
Right.
and it has a different flash point. So it will light up easier, and it flows so that because some guys will burn up a starter because they're going, I want to crank the air out of it. Dude, you ain't going to crank the air out of it. You'll burn up a starter or take out a flywheel.
Right.
I didn't know about transmission fluid.
Yeah, I carry 2.5 gallon jugs of transmission fluid in the tool truck in case I run out of fuel someplace. That way I have it.
You have
because and that way you can run on it. Like I said, you can run on it. And it has a different flash point though. I mean, it'll smoke a little, but it's actually, it really depends on how new the vehicle is. Super new, you got to be careful. But on the older, that's what we used to use to clean the injectors out with the pump. We would use transmission fluid and pump it. We had
person detected.
We had like a handheld pump thing. You hook up with the injectors, and you had you poured your fluid in it. A lot of times they would use what is that?
Kerosene.
Kerosene. Well, the not paint thinner.
Naphtha you thinking of?
Not acetylene. Acetone.
Not acetone. The one under that.
Tulene, xylene.
It's one of those like
Turpentine.
one of. I'll have to go over here and look at
Brut
it.
by Fabergé.
Yeah, but we used to use that, or you could use transmission because transmission fluid has tons and tons of cleaning agencies.
Yes.
And
Yeah, when I used to work at the gas station, guys would come with diesel, like throw this transmission fluid. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So we would have them.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You want to put a transmission fluid in there? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I've ran out of gas before, and like I said, I just actually, to be honest, I stopped off at the Chinese place and bought 2 gallons of fucking cooking oil and put in there. It was a pain in the ass to start because the flash point is really, really high on that.
Yeah.
But I put that, and then I had some transmission fluid, and I got home. Smelled like a French fry, big old baked potato going.
Yeah. That's good.
But it will work.
That's why we used to call a friend of ours the frying Dutchman, because he used. Hey, it's what it smelled like. It smelled like you were frying.
Honestly, and that's I joke kind of about it, but if it's of course, this is like, other than my tool truck, this is really the first time that I've never had a diesel car. I've always had a diesel car forever, and I would say if it's coming to the end of the world, I would want a diesel vehicle because you can burn, like I said,
Anything.
almost anything and everything. And if it got really desperate, if you got really to the point of if you found roadkill and took the fat off of an animal and melted it, it will run.
Yep.
It will run. And one of the survival things was the guy took a coffee can, cut out the center, and put it on. He had a 3-cycled diesel that was for construction, and it was for a generator. And he took a coffee can, cut a hole around it, put it around the exhaust, the muffler, the pipe on it. And he was down to his last bit, got the generator running so it produced heat, and then he was using animal fat to melt and then run in, and then he was burning it. It will burn. It may not sound good, but it will run.
Right.
Well, I know they used to tell you with these little Volkswagen diesels to carry yourself a bottle of vegetable oil, and this way, if you're starting to run out, you pour it in there. Yeah, it's gonna maybe make more noise or smell, but it'll get you home.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
that's we had a '79 diesel Rabbit, 43 raw horsepower. That's what all of us learned to drive on. And you look good with the rabbit ears. Get a new single in, but they, like I said, that burnt when that was on its last leg. We burnt everything and anything through there, and it ran.
I guess it was around 2008 or 9. Chris worked with a guy who converted a Mercedes diesel to run on used oil, fryer oil. And it was like, one of the first guys that I had heard of that did it. We were hearing about it, but he came in, brought the car in, did the show with us, and afterwards we went out and looked. And in the trunk, he had a separate fuel tank for the oil, and he had this. He rigged up like a stand off the trunk lid that would hold this bag that was kind of like the filter. It was almost like a burlap kind of a bag, and he would pour the oil. So he'd go to like Chinese restaurants and Mexican restaurants. He said the Chinese places were the best. It was the cleanest. And at the time, they had to pay to get rid of their oil, so they would give it to him. And he would pour through that bag that would filter out the particulate. And then I think he said he would start the car. He started it on diesel, and he had a switch. He would switch it over to the oil.
Yeah, they wanted to get to operating temperature. I mean, it was a certain temperature.
So he put a second gauge in, for the oil. And I said, the only thing, what you got to do, I said, because I do this. I love taking things apart, and like I'll put my name on the gauge face and put the gauge, but whatever. So I said, you got to take that gauge apart and like just put a picture of a chicken on it. And then put it back together because that's your chicken, that's your oil, or you got to put a Chinese food container or something, whatever. He's like, oh, that's a great idea. I don't think he ever did.
I looked into doing that when I had my semis, but I was so nervous about messing up a motor, man. So I never did it. But I started researching it. I was going to do it.
Yeah.
Disney did it with their ferries for a while. We went there. I'm like, oh, it smells like French fries coming out the back. Yeah. And I asked the guy. He goes, oh yeah, it's right on fry oil. They had a big thing. Yeah, look, we're environmental friendly. We're burning the fry oil. Blah blah blah. Recycling it. And then last time we went, probably maybe 2 years ago, no more fry oil. They're just using diesel.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
it
ran out.
Well, like I said, on the newer stuff, you have to be careful because the clearances and the tolerances and pressure. There's a lot of different things. If you, like I said, anything old, you can't pass up, man. You find one of these old construction site generators. I mean, a generator that's a 3-cylinder diesel or one of those flashy light things that is 3-cylinder diesel, dude, you could literally piss in that son of a bitch and it'll run. Those things just don't stop.
They started selling biodiesel at some truck stops for a little bit. I don't think they do it anymore, do they?
Yeah, they still do.
Oh, do they?
I know the last oil contract we had here at the house, they told us they were going to sell us a certain percentage of biodiesel, and it dropped the price down. So yeah, we took it. They said, okay, it's fine.
That'll clean your truck out too. To clean your motor out.
Yeah.
It'll blow a little black smoke for a little bit, but it'll clean your engine out.
Yeah. So, but like I said, if you're, you don't want to carry diesel or kerosene around, like I said, couple. I have 2.5 gallons of ATF, and I just carry it just in case I run out. That way, I can put it in, and it'll get me home, or get me to the gas station.
I'm just thinking.
The only other problem that you have, I don't mean to cut you off, but I got to say this before I forget. The biggest problem with that is, what color is ATF?
Red.
Usually
red.
Which is
what
what
color? And what color is home heating oil?
Red.
Red. Or tractor or farm use is red.
Yeah,
so
red.
if the DOT guy gets you, and he looks in your sight glass, and you have red fuel, you're done, because he's going to nail you for not paying road tax. And it's hard to explain that you were running out, unless but it's just the gamble you have to take. Because I mean, I understand, Lewis. 5 hours sitting on the side of the road is not a fun place, especially when people doing Mach 1 by you. I'm sure that the bus was a rocking, and it wasn't the way you wanted it to be rocking.
You're right.
There was some guys in the GMC club. I mean, it's a smaller RV, right? And that's not a bus size. But they were saying when you break down and if you're flat towing somebody, a vehicle, get in the car in the back and just push your car. I don't know if the Jeep could do the bus, but you could get in the Jeep and maybe push the bus, have your wife steer it just to get off the road.
Yeah.
But I mean, then you have how strong is the points on all of the flat tow stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but on the GMC it's 10,000 pounds. I don't know how much does the bus weigh? More than that, right?
22 maybe. 28.
Yeah.
That's when you guys get a workout and you sleep real good that night. I've tried to push the tool truck. I know I had to look stupid as hell trying to push that tow truck. I mean the tool truck.
Yeah, so like you said, Brian, it is a lot of benefits to having a diesel.
Yeah.
Your bus weighs as much as our box truck does when we've got it loaded.
Yeah.
Which is 28,000 pounds. Of course, I've only got a 20-foot box on here, too.
Yeah.
Which my darling daughter is going to get shortly.
35 bucks.
Is it 30?
The whole truck is like
26 foot is 12,000 pounds. 12,500. Oh, whatever. That was wrong. It's off by 2,000. 2,500.
So Keith, I was gonna head down your way, but
and I'm waiting. Where are you?
Yeah, I got a call. I had to come back home.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. So that was my next stop is down your way.
Yeah.
So we had to come back home a little bit early, but when we head back down there, I will stop through.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
When are you gonna go up and visit Jim in New York?
Actually, we'll be going over there in September.
You're going
you're not going on Long Island though. Yeah, he's going upstate.
Upstate.
Yeah, going on Long Island.
Yeah, upstate.
How far up?
Drive through the city.
What town?
I don't know. It starts with a B. Hold on.
That narrows it down.
Yeah.
Upstate New York, it's Canada, right?
Yeah.
So So I'm looking for it, and I know I'm not going to find it because I'm looking for it.
Of course.
Well, see, I'm not going to ever be out in you guys' direction with this thing because
No.
Too far. And besides that, my wife has decided that we're going to give the business to my daughter and her husband and let them play with the general public. And I'll just periodically go bail my daughter out of jail.
Bainbridge? Is that it, Lewis?
Bainbridge,
New York.
Hell,
you found it? Yeah, Bainbridge.
Yep, never heard of it.
Keith?
It's in I don't know, New York somewhere.
Keith's the official Planet Traffic looker-upper.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. You want to know what it is? It's September 19th to the 28th. All right, so where is Bainbridge? I don't even know where that is.
I think it's just it's around Syracuse.
Okay. Well, we got a guy up there. Another guy used to be a Long Islander, and now he calls the show. He's from up that way. He just told me Sunday we were talking about potato pizzas, and he said, "Hey, if you come up my way, if you go to the Syracuse Nationals again, if you just stop by, I'll make you a potato pizza." So I don't have any plans of going this year, but he says, "Or next time I come down, I'll come and make them." I'm like, "Okay, that sounds like a plan." So I got a contact up there. This guy,
pizza shop.
Clinton. He's in Clinton, New York. Yeah. So
there's a China, New York.
What's that?
Sorry, there's a China, New York. Did you
know
know
that?
Yeah,
there's a China, New York. Yes.
There's a little bit of China everywhere.
There's a Russia too, I believe.
Right.
Hey, in this country, we got them all.
Yeah.
We do,
I did a quick look. Bainbridge is a little bit closer to Binghamton than it is Syracuse.
Oh wow. Okay, so that's a lot closer to here.
Yeah.
Binghamton isn't that far. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Binghamton. Yeah.
So Papa Squirrel, if you guys could email me or text me a show list that you guys are going to or your daughter's going to out west.
Okay.
Kind of like to maybe try to schedule it.
We'll do that because she's going to be going to oh Christ, the brain just shut down. How come every time you want to tell somebody something, the brain says, no way?
So I went to Daytona Speedway to see Ed. He was doing some painting there. Man, that dude is incredible.
Yeah.
Somebody was looking at my Rat Fink sticker on the side of my van going, who the hell is that from? I said, come on now. Don't you all know about Rat Fink?
Sure.
Oh, Ed Roth.
I'm upset with you, Coach. You didn't get on the show last week.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I got on. I got on.
He was busy.
On the after show. I was. Well, I'm still working on it, but my wife. We had the week off for spring break. She took the week off to spend time with me, and she wanted to paint the bathroom in the hallway. And I said, well, since we're going to do that, let's go ahead and change that window, upgrade that window. And when I started working to free up the window, as I pulled some bath towels, because our shower is up against that window. It's the main shower for the house. I started finding mold, and then I started pulling back more and more. And then as soon as she said, hey, we're going to probably have to retile it with brand new tile, then I went into demolition mode and just started ripping it all out. So
we were down in your part of the country for a show, and that's the only show we've ever been kicked out of. Actually,
really?
It was everybody.
Was that the one where they got sick?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about that on the news.
You heard about it on the news? Hang on a second. Here?
What happened there, Isaac? What happened to the show?
It was never confirmed it was a norovirus.
Yeah,
I think they just wanted to get rid of us.
Yeah, a bunch of people got sick. And then of course on the internet it blew up, all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
And it was an attack and all this other stuff. We went to the air show, I think it was the same day. And we got home and I heard about it. And then the most recent, they said that listeria or whatever virus your wife said, the one that they have on the cruises or whatever, I guess. But like your wife said, it was never confirmed. So they think possibly food poisoning or whatnot. But yeah, there was a whole show and they shut it down.
Yeah, I had to go back to the ARV because I wasn't feeling good, and found out later it was a possible gas leak.
Okay.
And because I'm back there and I hear noises, and the wife and daughter show up in the door, and it's only 4:00, and the show's supposed to go to 6:00.
Yeah.
And the next day, so we lost a bunch of money because of that.
Well, and I was listening on the way home. I heard you were talking about it's pretty hot. Are you still in Arizona?
Yeah, but we're up in Phoenix. The Ren Fair, last weekend of the Ren Fair.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it has been hot. And Phoenix is usually hotter than Tucson, but I think it was Tuesday when we had baseball practice. It was like 96 degrees already.
Wow.
It's just too dang hot.
Man,
yeah, what were you guys doing with such temperature around it? This is a desert. It's supposed to be cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, this time of year, we've hardly gotten any rain throughout this year. Like, I mean, coming down to the gem show during February, we usually get a storm or two right at the beginning of February and towards the end. We haven't gotten hardly anything.
Mm-mm. They had one rain here during the 8 weeks we've been here.
Yep.
And it lasted for about 5 hours, and then that's it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's just been unseasonably warm, and it's been very dry.
Boy, that's the truth.
And even today it was warm. I don't know what it got up to, but the other day when it was 96, that's usually the end of baseball season. We're ending baseball season in May, and that's usually we get a day or two like that in May, and early mid-May, and then it's the end of May when we start really seeing heat. End of May, beginning of June. But yeah, it's been hot. It's uncomfortable. I hate it.
If you don't like it now, just wait till July.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, and that's the thing. I mean, this is. I grew up here. It's home. I love it here. But when it comes to that heat, man, that's the one thing I hate. And actually, I've mentioned, going up and checking out Seattle, not to live, not to move, but going and checking it out, the rainy weather. And everybody says, "Oh, you'll be depressed." And I'm like, if you grow up in the desert, you don't get depressed with the rain. We're probably the only people in the country that when it rains, we stop what we're doing and run outside to look at it. I'm dead serious. I think it was either in December or it was January. We had a little rainstorm come through, and we're sitting here in the house. And my daughter goes, "Hey, is it raining? I think it's raining." And we all run outside to go look at the rain. It was just sprinkling. So.
Well, yeah, because you need water.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's that water's bringing life, but
yes.
It's we need the water, but then it's just always so sunny. In the sun down here, just I've been to other states, but I know when I went to my son's graduation from basic training, it was in South Carolina. We flew into Atlanta, and you know, it was humid, it was hot, it was in the 90s, but it to me it was like a break from the heat, and it was sunny. I mean, there wasn't much cloudiness when we were there, and I don't know. To me, the sun here feels like it just beats down on you. It just beats the hell out of you. When I've been in other states during the summer, it's hot. It has its own version of being uncomfortable, but the sun is just not. If you got bare skin, the sun doesn't necessarily feel like it's beating you up anywhere else I've been, but here it just beats the hell out of you.
Yeah, I look a little strange sometimes here in Arizona when I've got some light long sleeve shirts because it keeps your arms from hurting.
Yeah.
Because mine hurt because of the sunlight. So
yeah, I do the same thing. I mean, I'll go back and forth where I'll have my arms exposed, but a lot of times I wear like a thin long sleeve, keep the sun from beating down on me.
That's funny because here in New York we literally get everything.
Yeah.
We get hot, we get cold, we get rain, we get snow, we get tornadoes, we get hurricanes.
We had a freeze warning last night.
Wow.
Yeah, so did we.
So of course, I don't want to get too sidetracked again. So everybody was all concerned because we're in stage 3 of the cherry blossoms. Oh my God. I didn't really say that. I'm on the team. Don't worry, but please.
Team Cherry Blossom.
Hey, Coach, how far are you from Tombstone?
From where? Tombstone?
Yeah.
It's, I want to say it's about maybe an hour and a half. It's, I don't think it's even 100 miles, but it might be. It's southeast of us. It's been a little while since I've been there, but it's really not that far.
I got a friend that's gonna let me stay on his property if we head out there in the bus.
Yeah,
he's not too far from Tombstone.
Yeah. There's some open area in Tombstone. I want to say it's been such a long time since I've been there, but I want to say it's a little bit higher than us. It's probably equal to Sierra Vista, and Sierra Vista is a little bit higher than us. So when we're hitting 105, I want to say they're in the high 90s, maybe touching about 100 degrees.
So it's
during the middle of the summer.
You said it's southeast of you?
Yeah, correct. Okay. It's going towards New Mexico and towards the border, going south towards Mexico. It is nice there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see some. I sent you a video, a reel, and it was the church from the movie Tombstone. That's in that place, Old Tucson here, that I was telling you about. And then there was another video I found, I sent, and it shows they're talking about, it's the bar where they're playing pool in the movie Tombstone, and he gets shot in the back, like from somebody shoots him from outside, like that.
Yeah.
That's still here in the Tucson area. That's out headed east. It's a little small movie set town called Mescal. And it's attached in part of Old Tucson, but it's on the opposite side of the city. But they have tours there.
Yeah, I can't wait to hit all that stuff.
In fact, have you seen the movie The Quick and the Dead with Gene Hackman, Sharon Stone? I can't remember the other guy, the other main character.
I'm not sure.
The movie setup is an old Western, but the movie setup is this guy runs the town, which is Gene Hackman, and he holds a gunfighting challenge. And the last, when you end in the challenge, the idea is you're facing the Gene Hackman because he's the fastest gun, and he kind of rules this town with an iron fist type of thing. And but that was the majority of that was filmed at that Mescal set.
I'll have to watch that one again. I haven't seen that one in a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen it or not. I have to. What's the name of it?
The Quick and the Dead. Now there's two of them. There's one with there's a Louis L'Amour Quick and the Dead, and that's with oh man, I can see his face. Sam Elliott. That one's Louis L'Amour's Quick and the Dead. That's with Sam Elliott. That's not the same one, and it's not the same basis. It's completely different. But the one that I'm talking about, it was made, I want to say, late '90s. In fact, I think it's Leonardo DiCaprio is in it. He's real young. But Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, and I don't think it's Gerard Butler. Can't remember the other guy's name.
All right,
Keith, you looking it up?
I just sent it to my secretary so she can put it in our watch list.
Yeah, it's actually not that bad of a movie. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I love cowboy movies. Man, I can't wait to get out there and see that stuff.
Well, if you get a chance, go to Old Tucson Studios. They're outrageous now because COVID caused a lot of problems, and the guy that was leasing it, the city of Tucson, said, "We're not going to give you a break. You've got to pay us, but you can't be running people through." So he basically said, "Screw you," and left. Well, another business is taking it over, and they've raised the price to $20 a piece to come in.
Really?
And yeah, it used to be. What did Old Tucson Studios used to cost? It wasn't bad.
Yeah, they did live cowboy shows, live shootout shows.
Yeah, they don't do those anymore. You used to be able to watch them because they did them in the street and everything in front of everybody. And we were doing that was where we did our Ren Fair at. It was damn it, Wild West Con. There we go.
Ooh, they got a Wild West Con?
Yeah.
Oh man, I had to check that out.
Oh, it was fun. Let me tell you, and especially it was good when it was Old Tucson Studios because you would have the actors that worked there coming through, the people that did the gunfights and that.
Yeah.
I love watching a guy do the tumble off the church tower.
Off the roof, yeah, off the roof and all that, yeah.
Yeah.
Those were awesome because like Papa Squirrel was saying, there'd be like they had it at certain times of the day, and there would be they'd start clearing the street. I don't remember they do a call or whatever, but you go down there and they clear the street, and they do this whole thing. I mean, they're mic'd up, so they have speakers around, you can hear them. They'll shoot people off the roof. They 10 paces and they draw down on each other, the whole thing, and it was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
So we don't know what it looks like. We think we might next year if we get a chance. Go pay the exorbitant price and see what's going on because, like I said, it was fun.
They also used to right during October before Halloween, they turn it into, I forgot what they called it, but they turn it into a creepy town or whatever, and they'd have like haunted house stuff, but it was a whole town, the whole Old Tucson Studios, and they quit doing that. But I think this last year they opened it up again. I don't know.
Well, that Old Tucson Studios had some history behind it because they filmed a couple of John Wayne westerns there. And,
McClintock. I was watching McClintock the other day.
Yeah.
And I spotted a few things. And I was like, oh yeah, that was filmed here.
And also it was Rio Bravo, I think, or something like that. And they were telling us about they have a stream that they built in front of one of the sets, and if you see him in the movie, you see them look like they're up to their waist or farther in water. What they were doing had to get on their knees to do the fight because it was very shallow.
Mm-hmm.
It movie magic. It was neat. I loved it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got a bail.
All right, Jim.
Take care,
Good
Jim.
weekend.
Take care, guys.
All right. Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
Or not Keith. Anybody on here? My Jeep is lukewarm heat. Got any ideas on why that could be?
Clogged heater core.
I'm not sure.
There's two popular answers.
Could be a blend door.
Could be a
That's
messed up blend door.
That's what it feels like because I'm getting cold air and a little bit of warm air.
You might want to check too. I know some of the Japanese cars, the Hondas, have it where when you go to heat or cold, it's got a valve right outside it along the firewall, and it opens and lets the
coolant go through.
Go through.
American car pulled out a heater control valve.
Yeah,
heater control valve.
Heck, God just had it.
Most likely, your Jeep has a blend door. It's always got the heat's always there. The heat's always running through the heater core.
Right.
And the blend door, the seal for the blend door or the actuator could be messed up.
Well, how was the AC? Did you have the AC on?
Yeah, the AC blows cold.
You see, a lot of times when you switch between modes, sometimes you'll hear like the door will go fuck. You'll hear it like loosen, and pop open or closed. That's the key, that you got a sticky door. Some of them are really hard. Some of the Fords are like miserable to change.
Or maybe one of those, the person before you was one of those duct collectors, and a duct fell down the vent, and it's keeping the vent from closing all the way. But it stays open for the AC part, but not for the heat part.
Yeah, that'd probably be my luck.
Well, the other thing was, there's a Florida Jeep. Heat probably was barely ever used.
Probably was never used.
Whatever is flipping around was never flipped around.
That could be.
Like saying the blend door and who knows what else.
But sometimes just working the control to command it to different settings will make it pop.
Yeah.
Not always. I mean, with Fords, they use these plastic gears. The worst was on the Ford vans. I had to change a couple. Man, they're so far up in the dash. If you could go from the top, it'd be great, but you can't. You got to go from the bottom. So you need like every 1/4-inch extension and swivel in the world, and you can barely see where you're going. But that fixed it every time.
Yeah,
So.
I think the trucks like that we have, Lewis, 02 to whatever those years, one of the blend doors, you have to take the whole dash apart.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they built the truck around it.
Yeah, it's you can't. I think there's the blend door is like here, and then there's like a vent or something here, so you can't even get to it. And I've seen people where they're like, screw it, go from underneath, and they cut a piece of the vent out, take the blend door, put the new blend door, and just tape the vent back up.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
it's like a lot easier than taking a dash.
I worked for this place, and they one of the things was putting a heater core in the Rabbit, in the older Rabbits. You got to pull the whole dash apart. And the dealership paid like, I don't know, 10 hours or something, 12 hours, and you do it. And, I can do it, and on a good day, 5.5 hours. But around that time, and so I went to this place to work, and he's like, can you do a heater core in a Rabbit? And I said, yeah. He goes, well, how long does it take you? I said, I don't know, 5-6 hours. And he's like, he goes, well, today I want you to work with my uncle because he can do them in 45 minutes. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I goes, just watch him because I have another one coming in and you're going to do that one tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I go out there and watch, and he goes, now this only works for the Rabbits that have a console. If it doesn't have a console, you got to do it the other way. And I'm like, the other way, okay. So
the correct way.
Right. So we pull the console out, he slides it back, he gets his air saw, cuts a big hole in the heater box in the AC box, reaches in, and it's just like pulling the Wicked Witch pulling the heart out. You know what I'm saying? Just reaches in and pulls his heater core out, and tosses it aside and sticks the new one in and takes the AC tape and dums it all back together, slides the thing back on, and I'm like, well, that was awesome. So went up front and the guy's like, so did you see my uncle do it? I said, yeah, I'm doing it the right way, so don't worry about it. Just put me in for 5 hours. You know what I'm saying?
What was the difference if it didn't have a console?
Because the box was seen, but the console covered the box.
Covered the.
Otherwise, you see a big cut out in the.
I can tell you back, like any 60s, 70s GMs, what they did is, the cars without AC, you had the heater box on the firewall where the blow motor was, and you could get to like 8 out of the 10, or what is it, 10 out of the 12 bolts. Some of them were on studs, but like there were 2 of them that were behind where the fender was, and you couldn't get them without taking the fender off the car. Mm-hmm. So one of my friends came up with a way, like he knew what to do it. He drilled 1 or 2 holes in the inner fender well, and that gave him access with an extension right to it. I'm like, brilliant, man, fucking excellent. Saves you all that time of taking the fender off.
Yeah.
I knew a guy that worked at a Chevrolet dealership, and when the Citations had cam recall, that had that 2.2 or that 2 side of the motor, it was front wheel, the front wheel drive.
It was a 2.6.
2.6, whatever, and they were putting camshafts in.
Yeah.
He was the fastest guy in the shop, and of course, he wasn't in like general public's eyesight, but he would drill a hole in the inner fender because you had to pull the motor. You're supposed to pull the motor
out, yeah,
and he'd slide the cam out. Take the fender off, drill a hole, and back in the day, if anybody that AC tape. The AC tape that they used to use back in the day, it was like really thick, gummy, like a tar-based tape, that they would wrap. That put a lot of cars back together. That was equivalent to zip ties and duct tape today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
It's always the workarounds. One of my brothers was in a Porsche dealership. That was the same thing. He was a big guy, so he couldn't get into some of these tight spaces. But his buddy Lenny was a really thin Russian and with smaller hands, and they used to swap ROs. And the service manager was cool with it. So they would each get their efficiency ratings up because they do the recalls that they could do, and bang them out real fast because each had an ability for a certain thing. And it's all about no secrets.
Yeah, they used to love throwing the big guy in the 356.
Yeah, right.
I'm driving and I'm driving and I look like a trained bear. I got one elbow out one window and the elbow out the other, and I'm driving this 356. And I was like, those Germans had some small ass cars, dude.
I've seen a lot of Germans. They ain't that small. So how in the hell did they fit in some of these cars?
I don't know. Hey, I'll be honest, man. Once I was in it, I was good. It was just I didn't look really cool getting in and out.
Yeah.
So, but
A friend of mine had a Maverick. Maverick for a while had the V8 in it, 302.
Ooh, nice.
And he couldn't change the spark plugs, I think, on the passenger side, the back.
Yep.
So he got a hole saw. Nice hole. Reach in, do that.
Yep.
Tape the thing back up.
Yeah,
hey,
I worked on a Maverick, and that rear spark plug was a pain in the ass. Yeah. And I was in high school, and there's a lady from the church, and I don't know if I've said it on here before, but my dad was a preacher, And I'm just fighting and fighting. I went and got my dad, and I said, "Can you help me with this? I can't figure this out." And we're messing with it. And he gets it out, and he turns around and he goes, "All right, do what you got to do and slap this fucker together and let's get it out of here." And I looked at him, and he goes, "I meant this sucker. Just get it out of here. That's all I care. Just get it out of here."
Dominus Abisco.
And then
took him to his limits right there.
It took him back to his old days from when he was in the Navy.
Yep.
But yeah, it was years later. A buddy of mine, he was big into Mavericks. He had a whole bunch of them, and he was like, "Hey, you take a hole saw and you cut the fender out on the inside, and you get right to it. It's no problem at all." And I'm like, "I wished I knew you back then, man." Although it was comical hearing my dad cuss, and he never cussed.
My grandfather said you should only cuss in emergencies. Don't cuss normally because you're wasting it. Cuss when things are really bad.
Yeah. Well, it was definitely one of those moments. It definitely made my eyes pop out of my head. Did I hear what I thought I heard?
That's funny.
Don't tell your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, those damn Mavericks now with the V8s in them are becoming collector's items, and I'm like, what?
Oh yeah. That was the they had the grabber version.
Yep.
Grabber, the Mighty Maverick.
Yeah, Brian, I got a couple. I've been saving articles again for you. I got a good one for you here. It's about the Boss Cougars.
Oh yeah.
You know, the Eliminator.
Eliminator.
I got another good article in here that's coming you. I gotta get enough, and I'll throw them in an envelope. There was another one in here about the 302s. What the hell were they in though? Let me see. It was all about how they hot rodded the 302. Actually, in that Cougar article, there's a lot of talk about it.
One of my friends has one of those Cougars. Pretty nice.
The nice cars. I like Cougars.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is GTO.
And actually, this had to be it had to be 16, 17 years ago. He had bought a van to get the LS out of it. And this is the first I've heard of that. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm putting the van motor in there." I was like, "Oh yeah."
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I was still hauling cars. So this had to be like 16, 17 years ago.
So
you put the LS in the Cougar?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Oh, that's terrible.
Good choice.
Disown you all.
Hey, this time it wasn't me saying it.
Yeah.
Hey, if they run, they run.
Yeah.
Well, back in 15 years ago, there wasn't really any other easy swap to do. I mean, you could have done some Ford, but they didn't have crate motors probably back then like that.
Yeah.
Technology came pretty far, man. Pretty quick.
Yeah. Now people are souping up the straight sixes. What is it? The Atlas motor?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's in like those Trailblazers.
Yeah, we got a guy on here that's doing them.
Yeah, that's that guy that Tyler was talking about. His YouTube channel is, I think it's Novlock 57 or something like that. I have him on one of my lists. I'll watch his stuff from time to time. In fact, they just put that inline 6 in a Camaro, one of the newer Camaros.
They're getting some power out of them.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, the guy Jeremy from Faster Problems tuned one. And it's funny because I saw it when I was at Sick Week. I'm like, oh, that's a nice. It looked like a Trailblazer SS. It wasn't. The guy put the wheels on it, lowered it. It was just a regular Trailblazer, whatever. But it had that motor. I'm like, what is this? I was like, oh. And then I found out Jeremy was the one that tuned it, and that guy has I don't know if it's the same guy. Does he have a silver Trailblazer?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So it's probably the same
one
guy.
they're working on right now is a silver one.
Yeah, probably the same guy.
Yeah, they're getting the power
that was
out
a nice
of them.
truck. Yeah, 500-600 horsepower or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
And those motors are all over the place.
Yeah,
I think they're almost pulling 1,000 out of the Camaro.
that's pretty good. And it sounds just like a 2JZ. Sounds like a Supra.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I thought at first. I go, oh, you put a super motor in there. I'm like, wait a minute. That's not a Toyota engine.
Yeah, it's Navlac 57.
Yeah, we ran into him at at SEMA, him and his dad.
Yeah, 800 horsepower. It's white. It's actually white.
Yeah.
Let me.
Yes.
Here.
That's a different one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing a Trailblazer. Terry's is really nice.
Yeah.
He just put a stick in it, so
Mm-hmm.
he's just breaking it in, man. That truck's gonna run pretty good.
Yeah, that's a weird comment because I haven't heard of people doing a stick in those things.
Yeah, I guess it's starting to
do
become
anything.
common. There's a couple people doing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that inline six, that's that motor. If I could get the let's see, Vauxhall and Opel make it. And it's Carlton, and I forget what the other name it's under, but that's the one that the Lotus they made. Now the base car is kind of funky looking, and the rear, the wheel wells. You know how the old Impalas had the in some of the 50s vehicles had the fender skirts. This has it, but it's built into the body. It's not. They don't come out. But if you get you can take that car and get the body kit for the Lotus, and then you have to cut that fender well out. But you can put all that stuff on and basically make a clone Lotus Carlton. And then, but I'd love to do that and then stick that Trailblazer inline six in, because those Lotus Carltons came with an inline six, and then they came with I think it was a 6-speed, but it was out of a Corvette, and those were the cars that basically they didn't last too long or make too many of them, and it was because the British government was basically trying to outlaw them because these stick-up gangs or these heist crews, they would steal a Lotus Carlton and they'd go and smash out a business window, steal everything, jewelry store or whatever, steal everything, and they'd take off, and the cops couldn't keep up with them. If you look online, you can find some video of this thing running from them. And then Parliament was saying, there's no need for the common man to have a vehicle that can go as fast as a Ferrari I think it was a 360 or something like that at the time, or a 348. That's what it was. And no need for a commoner to own a vehicle as fast as a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Well, that's always been the British. They have this thing against commoners.
Yeah.
That can haul ass and show them up.
Yeah.
Only the rich are supposed to be able to take advantage of you. Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm gonna hit the sack.
All right, Lewis, we'll be hanging, waiting for future adventures.
Yeah, this week I'm gonna work on some guests. Try to get some guests on before the summer hits and they get real busy.
Yeah.
Okay,
probably just going to have to go out and grab somebody and say you're going to be on the show on Thursday.
Right. Just show up at their shop. That's my plan. I'm going to try to hit some shops.
Yeah.
Run in like, hey, we're going live.
There you go.
Yeah. So if I don't keep freezing.
Yeah, say that again.
So we're going to go ahead and sign off.
All right, good.
Everybody in the wait a minute, hold on. Let me do my thing here.
You outro.
Yeah. Baby. Come on, baby.
Take over the screen.
You ain't letting me. Well, anyway, thank you everybody from Facebook Live and YouTube Live for coming on Playing the Traffic and hanging out with us. Please tell all your friends that we do this every Thursday night, 9:00 Eastern time. And we will be back next week to tell lies and talk about cars. All right. Have a good night.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye-bye.